Hey! Why don't you people learn to speak proper English before coming here? The words cut through the air like a slap. Everyone in the grocery store froze. Amir, a quiet immigrant father in his 40s, stood by the produce aisle clutching a small basket of fruits. His little daughter, Sarah, no more than 7, looked up at him with confusion in her big brown eyes. He had simply asked the cashier for help, in broken English, trying to find oatmeal. But before the clerk could respond, a man from the next checkout lane had turned around, red-faced and loud. "Every week it's the same thing," the man shouted, his voice echoing through the store. "People like you slow everything down. Go back to where you came from." Gasps rippled through the aisle. A mother pulled her son closer. The young cashier froze, unsure what to do. Amir didn't speak. He lowered his head slightly, trying to keep calm. His daughter tugged his sleeve, whispering, "Baba, why is he angry?" He smiled weakly. "It's okay, Sarah. Some people just don't understand." But his voice trembled. The man wasn't done. "You think you can come to Canada and get everything for free? You don't even work hard like the rest of us." That one hit Amir deep. He worked double shifts at a warehouse, sometimes until midnight, just to keep a roof over his family's head. He never complained. Never caused trouble. And now this stranger, who knew nothing about him, was shouting at him in front of his child. Amir tried to leave quietly, but his hands were shaking. The fruit slipped from his basket, rolling across the floor. The man laughed. "See? Can't even hold a basket properly." The laughter rang out, mean and sharp. Then, a small, trembling voice broke the silence. "Stop being mean to my dad." Everyone turned. It was Sarah. She stood between her father and the shouting man, her little fists balled up, tears in her eyes. "You don't even know him," she said. "He helps people every day. He says sorry even when it's not his fault. He's the kindest person I know." The man blinked, stunned. For a moment, the entire store went silent, even the hum of the fridges seemed to fade. But before anyone could move, a woman from the bakery section started clapping softly. Then another. And another. Within seconds, the sound of applause filled the store. The angry man's face turned red. He dropped his basket and stormed out, muttering under his breath. Amir stood frozen, tears threatening to spill. He looked down at his daughter, the little voice that had silenced hate. But as the crowd began to disperse, Amir's phone buzzed. A stranger had been filming the whole thing. The caption read, "Little girl defends her immigrant father in a Calgary grocery store. What happens next will melt your heart." The story was just beginning. By the next morning, Amir's phone wouldn't stop buzzing. He thought it was a mistake. Dozens of messages, missed calls, and his daughter's video, everywhere. A stranger who had filmed the incident had posted it online with the caption, "This little girl stood up for her immigrant dad in a Calgary grocery store, and reminded everyone what Canada stands for." By sunrise, it had over 3 million views. News outlets were calling. Radio stations were replaying the clip. And the comments section was flooded with love. "We need more people like this brave little girl. Her dad deserves respect, not hate. This is the Canada I want to live in." Amir sat at the kitchen table, still in disbelief. Sarah, still in her pajamas, giggled as she scrolled through kind messages from strangers. "Daddy, they said we're famous," she said, eyes sparkling. He smiled faintly. "Famous or not, you taught everyone what courage looks like." But not everyone was clapping. Later that day, as Amir went to pick Sarah up from school, he noticed a sleek black SUV waiting outside. A man in a suit stepped out, holding a coffee cup with the same grocery store logo where the incident happened. "Mr. Amir," he said cautiously. "I'm Tom, the store manager. Amir stiffened. He expected an apology, maybe even excuses. But Tom looked nervous, genuinely nervous. "I saw the video," he said, voice trembling slightly. "That man who shouted at you, he was one of our regulars. We didn't act fast enough. And we're sorry, deeply sorry." Amir nodded politely. "It's okay. I just want peace." But Tom shook his head. "No, it's not okay. I spoke to our corporate office. We want to make things right." A week later, the grocery store hosted a Community Appreciation Day in Amir's honor. Posters across Calgary read, "Stand for Kindness, a tribute to everyday heroes." People came from all over, families, veterans, teachers, and newcomers, bringing food, warm clothes, and donations for immigrant support centers. Sarah stood beside her father on a small stage, clutching the microphone nervously. "My dad works hard," she said, voice soft but steady. "He says kindness is stronger than hate. I think he's right." The crowd cheered, many wiping away tears. Reporters captured every moment. One photo, Amir hugging Sarah tightly under the banner, "Kindness has no language," would later be shared millions of times across Canada. But the most touching moment came later that evening. As the crowd left, a small figure walked up to Amir. It was the same man who had shouted at him in the store, now humbled, eyes wet. "I came to say sorry," he whispered. "I was wrong. Your daughter reminded me what I forgot, that we're all human." Amir looked at him for a long moment, then extended his hand. "Thank you," he said simply. Sarah smiled up at her dad. "See, Baba? You always say love wins." Amir chuckled softly, his eyes glistening. "Yes, my little one, love always wins." And as the sun set over downtown Calgary, the two walked home hand in hand, a symbol of hope, healing, and what Canada could truly be when kindness speaks louder than hate.